Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports and Gaming. We have a returning guest after wonderful Gayle Falkenthal in the house yet again. How are you, Gayle?
Bringing a ray of sunshine from California. Happy to be here. We have a great boxing weekend ahead. Finally, it's back.
We do, but I don't want to be bored with the UK stuff for 1 minute. Just put that to one side, because you're in California, home of the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. So let's start with that. I mean, look, TMZ, we know you're on. That's crazy enough. But TMZ, Gayle, with Oscar De La Hoya. And Oscar's got a wild past, pretty interesting present, and could be even more spicy future ahead of us. So talk to us about the Golden Boy coming back.
The Golden Boy has teased this for some time. He's talked about coming back to fight Floyd again. He's talked about various other foes out there. And we all thought, okay, that's fun. I get it, Oscar. It's entertaining. It keeps him on the news. It's not a bad thing right now. But apparently this is dead serious. People are starting to offer themselves up to him. And he's training, he claims. He's sparring, he claims. Now it seems it will stick as long as he can find an opponent. Whether it's a sanctioned fight, that's another question. But hey, California State Athletic Commission sanctioned Tyson and Jones. So I think we're destined to see the Golden Boy back in the ring. And on the one hand, if Oscar is being motivated by this to get into the gym, to get himself healthy in body and mind, get himself right, I'm thrilled for that. And that's a healthy thing. That's a good thing. But really, I don't want my final memory of Oscar in the ring to be this version of Oscar. But, Ingram, they're drawn back. Who's fighting today? Sergio Martinez is fighting today.
Are you joking?
So, I'm not joking. He has a fight in Argentina today.
No.
Today.
Yep.
He weighed in at a tight 161 yesterday. He looks good. Yes. Yeah. Now, he's got a knockover opponent, but he has a live dog, honest to God, professional opponent. And yes, indeedy, Maravilla, he's back too. Now,
my gosh,
he claims his knee, which has been tricky was just a noose around his neck for the last few years of his career. He claims his knee is finally right, that he's finally right. Sergio's always kept himself in good shape. And as we know, Oscar has indulged in, the things that people love to indulge in that don't keep you too healthy. So Oscar's got a little bit further to come back than Sergio does. So we shall see. And perhaps Oscar is simply trying to keep his company afloat. Not a lot of fights going on with Golden Boy. Golden Boy's one small regional card scheduled at the end of this month in Indio, California, in the desert, had to be canceled. Jorge Linares and Javier Fortuna off. Couldn't find a replacement opponent for Fortuna in time. Off. Canelo is in the wind, it seems. Ryan Garcia's fight is scheduled, and wonderfully so, with Luke Campbell. Looking forward to that. That's a long way away. Where's the income for Golden Boy? Where is he getting money to pay the staff? Well, maybe Oscar is falling on the sword to keep his company alive. Whatever he does will make money. There's no question about that. So if that's really what it's about, terrific. It may just be a side effect, though. I think what it's really about is Oscar.
I'm getting feedback.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm getting feedback. I don't know why that was. I'm still hearing myself on the loudspeaker.
And not hearing it at my end, so that's good news.
Okay, so anyway, Oscar De La Hoya coming back to fight. I mean, Mike Tyson coming back. Is it potentially because Mike Tyson has this legend sort of like company that maybe Oscar De La Hoya is trying to get involved into that?
Well, I don't know that they've had a discussion about it, but they certainly have the capacity to have a discussion about it. But, you know, we haven't even gotten this Tyson Jones exhibition off the ground. It's got a delayed date, venue change. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That one is going to fall in the if I'll believe it when I see it category. And maybe they want a gate. I don't know. They're being backed right now for that fight by a new streaming online service, right? New gaming platform that nobody knows about. So, right. So, you know, the under 30s are going to dish that up and get it done, and that's fine. And all the hardcore will find it. Will the people who watched both these guys in their prime be able to dig up a streaming service, call it up, and watch it? I think that we overestimate people's capacity to have the patience to do that. You know, at a certain age, you're just not digging into TikTok. You know what I'm saying? It's just not happening. So one more. I'm not sure that's I'm not sure that's the best thing for them. You know, if they were smart, somebody would get on the phone to HBO and say, "Hey, I know you're out of boxing. They're out of sports almost. But, you know, one last hurrah from 2 stars. Let's do it, HBO." I think it'd be a juggernaut. It'd be huge, you know. And then put it on the back of 2 dragons, and we're set.
Well, Stacey McKinney thinks that Mike Tyson should skip that fight out and have one more big fight for 12 rounds against Deontay Wilder or even better, Anthony Joshua. Why not? Why fight Jones and look bad? Then fight
one of those 2 and look bad and make more money.
There you go. And possibly with Joshua on the chin, you could become world champion. Because Joshua.
Would Tyson's ego, his chin might survive the blow. Would his ego survive the blow? Remember what he looked like in his last fight? Dish that up, everybody.
I know. I try to tell everybody that. I know. The last 3 fights of his career, I know. You're preaching the converting.
Dog meat, they were horrible. I get it. He looks great in the gym. And again, if getting in there, getting fit, you know, gets himself and his body and mind right, I'm all for it. I'll be the first to applaud, to repost. Mike, you're looking great. Mike, oh man, you're looking like a bad man. This is fantastic. That's as far as it needs to go. Really, that's it. That's as far as it needs to go. I'll tell you though, I'm more worried about Roy than I am about Mike.
What? Yeah,
Roy has had his brains rattled a lot more recently and a lot worse. Roy has taken some punishment in his day. And Roy's got a lot of years left on this planet. And I want to be able to understand what Roy's saying for many years into the future. And it's getting borderline right now.
And he's a good trainer as well. So,
he's a wonderful trainer. And, again, you and I both know there's of the cast of characters that populate boxing, they run the spectrum. Roy is the most genuinely warm human being you would ever care to meet. Pandemic or not, he's probably still greeting everybody with a hug and leaving them with a God bless. And he means it. He absolutely means it. I wish him the best.
So I want to come back to this Oscar De La Hoya thing for 1 second. And I think if my spider senses are correct, Oscar De La Hoya versus Conor McGregor wouldn't be such a bad fight.
I don't think that would be bad at all. If you're going to do a stunt, go for it. I mean, blow that thing up. And, Oscar and Dana, I think that'd be a fairly interesting partnership. They get along fine. They cross each other's paths. You know, wouldn't be like Dana working with Bob Arum, which is that, you know, hell would need to freeze over before that would happen. But Oscar, and if what I think is really going on, which is that Oscar's trying to get some cash infused into his company and keep it afloat,
Yes.
that Dana will make him some money, and he knows it.
Yeah. Yep. And McGregor's already spoken about it. So McGregor versus
great
Hoya.
stunt for McGregor, great stunt for Oscar. But do they do it in the ring or in the octagon?
They do it in the ring, and I think Oscar's whole ego would be to try and knock McGregor out because Mayweather already fought him. So Oscar want to say he's better than Floyd by knocking McGregor out.
Well, I do think Oscar has a better chance of that than Floyd did.
So why?
But also, Connor's now been through been through a fight.
Yes.
Knows what it's like. I think he'll train with a little more intention, a little bit more to the skill set he really needs. I am not sure he calculated that just right. So, you know, I'll buy a bottle of Proper 12 and sit right in.
So, but that brings into another point. Conor McGregor's best friend, Paulie Malignaggi. I'm sure.
Everybody's best friend right now because he's looking for a job.
I mean, what do you say?
Paulie. Oh, you know, Paulie is, God bless Paulie. He's a complete attention whore. And I say that in a kind of way.
You know, that's how, I'd hate the expression live by the gun, but I'd die by the gun. But if you love that sort of attention, then, you know, if you say certain things, then things will come back to you, especially in this era. If you say something, it's recorded, people will come back. And if anything else in society is changing, as it does change, and you say certain things that may, hold on, that was a bit dodgy then, but we'll just skip past it for now. And then there's obviously a changing in the tide and what's going on politically. And Paulie Malignaggi still saying what he's saying. He's like, oh, well, hold on a second, bro. You said this stuff then. You're still kind of going on about it right now. You're now making our company look bad. Before you were making our company look good. Now you're making our company look kind of bad. And we can't exactly be seen to, you know, be endorsing you. So you got to go. Somebody's got to go. You've got to go as an example, as to show, even if we do take these things behind closed doors, up front, you've got to go. So Paulie gets shown the door.
Showtime knew what they were getting when Paulie was hired. You've got to recall some of those pre-fight news conferences and weigh-ins and, you know, flame wars Paulie got involved in, and your girlfriend and she's a hoe. And I mean, he was right in there in your face in the crudest possible way, right? Dial them up, everybody. They're all still out there. So Showtime knew what kind of personality they were getting. Now, to his credit, he's become a brilliant analyst. He truly is, you know, the best out there. He spots, identifies, and explains for the audience exactly what they're seeing and why things are happening and what needs to happen. He makes every fight more enjoyable to watch. If you're truly interested in the athletic techniques of what you see going on. However, Showtime knew what they were getting. Showtime hoped they could eventually tame and mold Paulie. Let me tell you, hope is not a strategy. Paulie's never changed. Paulie just put a lid on it as long as he could, but it's been peeking out here and there for a long time. Paulie has never been one to toe the corporate line. He's never been one to get on the hype train when it's been called for, you know, to be a good soldier, because make no mistake, he's an employee. He has a boss, and the boss is increasingly getting uncomfortable with Paulie. And from everything I've heard, it was not this single incident. This incident was merely that last straw.
Resting on the cake.
Yeah. It'd been brewing for a long time, and they're done with him. Now, I'm not sure. God bless him. Abner Mars is a wonderful guy. And Abner does a wonderful job doing color commentary in Spanish for Telemundo, which he has done for a long time. He was a quick fix brought onto the broadcast. He's also done some work for PBC, and now that PBC and Showtime are aligned, they're working together. But I'm not sure he's the permanent, proper replacement. I'd like to see them give Roy Jones a try. I miss Roy. I think Roy and Mauro Ranallo on a call would be appointment television.
Wow.
I think poor Al Bernstein would need to put on an asbestos fire suit to protect himself. But wouldn't that be terrific? And, all joking aside, again, Roy turned into an excellent commentator. And to see his talents not being used is such a shame. Such a shame.
Bring back Jim Lampley.
Jim has moved to North Carolina. He used to live here up the road from me, 30 miles or so, in a lovely multi-million-dollar coastal home near the Del Mar horse racetrack. But nope, he sold it, and he's moved to North Carolina on the other side of the country. Not to say he couldn't make his way up to the East Coast for a fight. And he's apparently not opposed to doing some work, but I guess nobody's called him with an offer that's attractive enough.
Jim Lampley.
Such a waste. Such a waste.
What do you think? Bang, bang. Jim Lampley?
Yeah, I think so. Why not bring Jim back for the Oscar Conor McGregor fight?
Bang!
One night only. I bet he'd do it. In a second.
It'd be interesting. Okay, let's talk a bit more about. There's other things going on. Tyson Fury rumored to be the next host for the Contender Series.
I love it. I love it. That man is sheer entertainment. He knows how to work a crowd. It keeps him in front of the camera, and in front of the fans. So important right now for these fighters to stay in front of the fans. And if they can't get fights, or they're not willing, or the timing, the money isn't right, and at that level, he has less options. There's just less wiggle room for a man at the top like Tyson Fury. So how else is he going to be in the front of the fans? Well, this is a genius way to do it. A great fit. He'll be super at it, and he'll draw more people to the series. Again, a wonderful audience builder for the series.
Fantastic. I want to talk about Terence Crawford. The man almost who seems in no man's land. Rumors is him fighting Kell Brook, please no. Rumors of him fighting once upon a time Thurman, because he doesn't knock anybody out anymore. What's going on?
I think Terence Crawford has joined the same club that has Gary Russell Jr. as its president and Keith Thurman as its vice president, and he is apparently now the secretary of the club. The exact opposite of Tyson Fury. Hiding out, waiting for the perfect fight to come along. Honey, there's a pandemic going on. Have you heard? People aren't in the stands. People are ill. People don't have money. The promoters are, desperately trying to figure out how to keep their businesses going. You can't make the big bucks right now, and you need to take the fights that are decent coming to you. Please no, Kell Brook. Please no. And I say that having enjoyed one of my favorite nights of boxing ever, when to everyone's shock, Kell Brook beat Sean Porter. And the new out at StubHub, I'm still going to call it that, in Southern California, with a little tiny cadre of British fans there making enough noise for a crowd 50 times their size. Fantastic. No Kell Brook. I would rather see Terence Crawford give it young, up-and-coming, ambitious welterweight, or perhaps a 140 willing to come up to fight him.
Robertson.
Yes, exactly. Give somebody who's a live dog, who wouldn't otherwise get a shot, his shot. And people will criticize, okay, he's not, a worthy opponent for you. At this point, he needs to get in the ring, or he is going to become increasingly irrelevant. And that division is a very competitive one with some interesting things going on. You've got the old guard still hanging in there. Manny Pacquiao, who would have thought, right? Who arguably, he and Errol Spence are at the top of the division, depending on the outcome of their next fights. And then you've got steamrolling his way upward Virgil Ortiz Jr., which I promise you all is the goods. If Terence really had, the cojones, he'd offer Virgil a fight. And I think it'd be a tough out. I really think Virgil might have his number. But what a hell of a fight. Wow. I get it. They wouldn't make enough money, either of them. The risk-reward ratio wouldn't be that great. But, there's a lot of options at welterweight. Is there a guy at 154 willing to come down? Is there, potential for a catchweight fight? I mean, get creative, people. Come on.
How about this? Now, I've been arguing with people over social media. There are some people that believe that Errol Spence's car accident, some people believe that Errol Spence, the car flipped over so many times, and he just got out the car accident, he just walked out, It was just cool. He was all right. And then there are others that think, hold on, he had his teeth taken out, new teeth being put in. He hasn't sparred for so long. We haven't seen Spence in a ring before the coronavirus and the pandemic. And you're like, well, clearly there was something wrong. He was supposedly, reportedly, in intensive care unit. So what is it, Gayle? What is going on with this Errol Spence thing? Because for me, coming back to fight Danny Garcia before the accident was a problem. Now he's coming back, and nobody knows what Spence is about apart from his trainer, who says he looks excellent, but he's meant to say that.
Well, I think that there's a difference between what a trainer says to us publicly and what a trainer's saying to his fighter behind closed doors, which is, son, I'm not sure you're ready. Son, I think you need a tune-up fight. And eventually those two will come together in the action of you take a fight, you don't take a fight. Derek James seems to be 100% truly behind what he sees in Spence. Spence wants the fight. I have seen people in accidents that are, from all appearances, catastrophic. And they do, by the grace of God, get lucky and walk away. There's something about a person who's driving, behind the wheel inebriated. They just bounce. I mean, I think we've all seen somebody, at a large football stadium or a venue where a drunk person has fallen, quite a distance. And they're just auto drunk. Yeah, they bounce. Seriously. And you think, oh, they're dead. Oh my God, they're dead. And they get up and, they seem to be fine. I can't help but think that might have happened to Spence. Now, rolling around like that with your brain being rattled, that's really my concern more than any physical injuries, with one exception. Now, I haven't heard anybody talk about this. We know that Spence's teeth got knocked out, and he's having them replaced with permanent implants. I think that is a horrible, horrible idea. Implants are fake teeth with essentially a screw on them, and they screw them up into the bone. They're not as strong as your natural teeth. They're just not. And we've all seen fighters have their natural teeth knocked out from time to time, right? There's a fighter, it was a showbox, sort of a prospects card where a guy got hit, not knocked down, hit hard enough to where a tooth flew out and was laying on the canvas. And he kicked it to the side, and his trainer picked it up, wrapped it up, put it in ice, and they replanted it when he got done with the fight. Crazy. One of the crazier things I've ever seen. Back to the Spence thing. He's going to have these artificial teeth in there, not as strong as his natural teeth. I'm not sure he's going to be completely used to them. I don't know about anybody else. I get any dental work done, I feel it for weeks, even the most minor thing. And I have all my own teeth and 2 fillings in my head. So, even that drives me crazy. I think he should have thought twice about permanently replacing his teeth until he's out of boxing. That's some serious dental surgery. Why isn't he doing what every professional hockey player does, which is they have a fake partial, right? When they're off the ice, when they're on the ice, they yank that thing out. They don't have any artificial teeth. They never have implanted teeth. They don't have them in the way. You'll see them after a game and they grin and there's 2 teeth in their head. Looks horrible. But you build, a new gum shield with, that extra cushion in there. I think it's a big mistake. I think that's the biggest mistake Errol Spence is making. And I haven't heard it discussed. I don't get it. So we'll see if that bothers him, if that distracts him. But he seems to feel he's ready for a fight. His trainer genuinely seems to believe he's ready. That trainer's job is to prepare the fighter. I get it. The trainer doesn't get paid unless the fighter fights. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure Danny Garcia has the power he did earlier in his career. Spence is certainly the more nimble fighter. I hope Spence does not turn this into a firefight. That wouldn't be the best thing for him. But I'm excited to see the fight. I'm glad at least to see the desire there to make a good fight.
According to Keith, Spence is harder. Not Spence. Danny Garcia hit harder than Porter, and I would believe that.
I find that hard to believe. I think that if there's a difference, Garcia is a little crisper and he's more accurate. Porter is just a bludgeon. He just bludgeons you. I'm not sure his punches always land with solid technique and, wrist in place and turned over. He is just throwing sheer force at somebody in volume. Garcia is launching, little tiny missiles, at you. And I think that's why there's a perception he punches harder. I'm not sure that's true. I think we're going to find out.
We'll find out. And if there's anything wrong with Spence's chin, we'll find out in this fight.
We're going to find out. I'm telling you, the teeth. Mark my words, everybody. You heard it here. The teeth.
The teeth. Okay. Canelo.
Not the truth. The teeth.
The teeth. Spence, the teeth.
The teeth. Spence, the teeth.
Errol, the teeth.
Errol, the teeth. Yeah. He's going to regret it. I'm telling you, he's going to regret it.
Okay, let's talk about Canelo, DAZN, Canelo, and will he, won't he? Is he going to leave DAZN or what? What's going on here?
Oh.
And then Vildrim, what's his name is? He requested Vildrim. He requested Vildrim for that fake WBC title fight. Well, what's all that about?
Well, at least it's not Patrick Teixeira or Jason Quigley. Oh my lord!
Quigley was in the. I thought that guy from England, what's his name again? My boy John Ryder. I thought John Ryder would have made a good fight.
I don't think that would have been a bad fight. I'll tell you what I'd like to see, and y'all can laugh at me. You can go laugh at me all you want. At 168 pounds, David Lemieux. He's in the Golden Boy stable. That's an in-house fight.
Yeah, but he can't box.
Make a ball. He can't box. but
The Nunes box.
he can take a punch. He's a tough son of a bitch. He'll give you a
Yeah.
good fight, a good effort.
Which means you'll take a shellacking.
I don't think. Well, I'm not sure he would. I mean, he still can throw a punch. He's been a good soldier. He certainly has a fan base north of the border in Canada. He is still a celebrity, and he can make that 168, I think, and then be, both of them will go into the ring at cruiserweight. Who are we kidding? And I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind. Given
I think, you know what happens? He'll come and then Canelo will just
Canelo's
upper
body mobility is nothing short of amazing. Nothing short of amazing. And he's developed that absolutely in front of our eyes.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question here. Since Floyd Mayweather, everyone says that Canelo's improved so much. His movement's better, he's slick and stuff. How many guys has he fought since that fight that are movers? Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all the illusion of Canelo. Canelo, like GGG, don't like movers. And don't talk about Danny Jacobs. Danny, I'm just happy to be here, Jacobs. So forget him. I'm happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. Hi, I'm at Danny Jacobs. All you have to do is, I'm happy to be here, Jacobs. So put him to one side. Move him to one side.
I mean, give the man a break. He's happy to be alive.
I know. We know. Yeah. Okay. Sure. But he's been boxing a lot longer since that's happened. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming back to boxing.
Here's a thought. Showtime wants a new commentator. Call Danny Jacobs.
Yeah, he's cool.
Get the job. He'd be great.
I'd rather listen to him than ever watch him box again. He balls the life out of me. I don't know what's so special about him.
I have to agree with you there. I absolutely have to agree.
I can't watch him.
I'll tell you who I would love to see Canelo fight. Love it.
I'd love seeing fight Chris Eubank Jr.
Dimitri Bivol at 168. Bivol can make 168 like that.
Come on.
Bivol eats breakfast the day of the weigh-in.
Bivol's my boy, yeah? Bivol's my boy. But do you really want to test that WBC franchise championship rule that even if you get beat, you don't really get beat? Really?
Senor Suleiman, we need to have a conversation about this.
Listen. Even if you get beat with the franchise belt, you still cannot win the franchise belt. What?
If you could get that gig, wouldn't you? Hell yes, of course you would.
Of course. If you
blame Canelo, we don't blame Canelo. All right, so are we going to see Canelo this year? I think very late this year. Very late.
You think so?
I do. But I think late. I think they're going to stretch this out. I mean, the September date is really sort of meaningless. He didn't fight on Mexican Independence Day weekend last year. He's not going to do it this year. And I'm disappointed we're not going to have Tyson and Jones instead as our consolation prize. So too bad. But I think they're going to try to delay to see lay of the land from a health perspective. Mm-hmm. See if they can't possibly stage something with limited fans. And let me tell you, there is a big, brand new, beautiful, eye-popping National Football League stadium sitting in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Waiting to be christened. Canelo was the first sporting event in the new T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. A stone's throw away is the new Allegiant Stadium, which looks like the Death Star from Star Wars. The sucker is matte black and curved. It's amazing. It's got a roof. It's got a roof. All stadiums in America do now, all the new ones. Put that thing in there. You could sprinkle 10,000 people in there if you wanted to social distance. Las Vegas's weather will, be conducive to a fight anytime. If you, for safety reasons, have got to hold the roof open. Yeah. And who are we kidding? We're seeing groups of people gather, not for sporting events. There's going to be plenty of people willing to get in there. Or you make it a super VIP event, super VIP. and you sell half your tickets at some monster crazy price, and you'll get a decent gate. I think that's what you're going to see happen.
De La Hoya, McGregor, there in California.
Well, that would be in Las Vegas. Now, if you want to put it here, put it in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. You know, the actual Rose Bowl game this year, American college football, is canceled. It's canceled.
Okay. So well,
people are going to need something to do January 1st.
Okay.
2 big names. You know, Japan has had a tradition of New Year's Eve prize fights for a long time.
Okay. Interesting.
I would rather not be squished into Times Square personally with hundreds of thousands of people, but I might see it my way clear to driving up to just north of Los Angeles to go to a fight.
Okay. I'm going to use 2 words. On this channel, it's almost criminal to use the words, but I'm going to put these 2 words together and say boxing, and I'll leave it for you. Ryan Garcia.
Love him. Love him. You know, people do not feel lukewarm about him. They either love him or they hate him. I think he is great for boxing in the exact same way Floyd Mayweather was good for boxing. And from an entertainment point of view, Tyson was good for boxing, and Muhammad Ali before that. And you can go on backward. Say what you will. You know, he's a pretty kid. He just wants to worry about his Instagram account, so on and so forth. You know, you can laugh all you want. His performances in the ring so far have backed him up.
Okay.
And he is emotionally immature.
Okay.
He needs to call Ryan. You need some advice. You need you need Mama Gayle on your shoulder so you don't get stupid on Instagram. But, you know, a lot of the best fighters, think about it, Ingram. A lot of the best fighters are very emotional people, right? They let strong emotions fuel them.
Yeah.
And they get into trouble outside the ring because they're emotional.
Yes. We're talking boxing, not Instagram.
But
okay.
You know, yeah, he so far he has delivered for Golden Boy in every way.
I get it.
And he wants us to, and he's, you know, his advisors are whispering in his ear, and you know, he is their number one concern, and they're taking care of it.
I get it. You want to be his publicist. I understand. You'd love to be his publicist. Wait, you'd love to be his publicist. I get it. I'd love to be his publicist. But
no. Right now, Canelo needs me worse than Ryan does.
I get that. Right.
And they're both right up the street from me. So, boys,
you know. Please give her a call. So, I mean, Ryan Garcia, I'm talking about opposition. And I'm sorry, this isn't an Olympic gold medalist. This isn't a world amateur champion. This is someone who is using his Instagram. When a guy is using his Instagram account to talk about why he should be getting paid for as a product, and I'm saying, okay, you got to turn those Instagram followers into actually paying public. 1 and 2. How many more videos do I have to watch you hitting speed bags and hitting punch bags? Punch bags don't hit back. And we saw Chris Eubank Jr. do the same thing for 1,000 punches in 1 minute on all this stuff. But when it came down to it, when it came down to fighting top opposition, he was found left wanting. But people give Eubank credit because he wants to fight the best. Ryan Garcia has fought C-level opposition. Let's be straight here. C-level opposition. He now takes a step up against Luke Campbell, okay? Who, in his fight against Lomachenko, I have to be honest with you, he looked like he wanted an autograph from Lomachenko. He had a point in that fight that he hurt Lomachenko, right? He had a point in that fight where he hurt Lomachenko. He hurt him. He visibly hurt Lomachenko, and he went and said, "Can you sign right here, please, Lomo? Can you sign right here?" And when he got hit by Lomachenko, it was like, oh, I got hit by Lomachenko. I got hit by Lomachenko. I got hit by Lomachenko. Me, I'm fighting Lomachenko. Now, if it was
he got dazzled by the Matrix, you know? I mean, just it happens. It happens.
So,
you know, though, let me say this.
Okay.
Your criticism is fair, and your criticism is familiar. You know, Garcia's first dust up with Oscar was because he refused a last-minute opponent named Romero Duno.
Mm-hmm.
Sparrow got arrested before the fight in front of a target, which was crazy. All right. So Duno ended up being a future opponent and was thought to be a big test.
Right.
He knocked him out in a round. Boom. Done. All right.
A test
so now he gets another fight. Fonseca was, well, but they were, you know, it was touted as a step up. And he crushed him. Then he gets another fight touted as a step up.
Right.
Not to the degree against Fonseca. You know, thought that he would be at least able to take him rounds.
Okay.
A minute and 40 seconds. Crushed him. And, you know, there were two things far more impressive to me than the actual outcome of the fight.
Okay.
First was the fact that it was on Valentine's Day Friday.
Okay.
In Anaheim, California.
Mm-hmm.
People think Anaheim, home of Disneyland, for all you need to get it placed in your head in Southern California. Anaheim is an hour south of Los Angeles proper, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, for people to just think of it as the general Los Angeles area, it's not quite a good description. So you've got people who have to go through hellacious Los Angeles traffic to get there.
It's hellacious.
In the afternoon, on a Friday, on Valentine's Day, where a lot of these boys' girlfriends are saying, oh, where are we going to go? Well, where did a lot of them go? They went to go see Ryan Garcia. He was fighting in the Honda Center, that's Anaheim's indoor arena, and he put 10,000 plus people in the seats on a Friday night. I promise you, Jorge Linares was not the person who put people in the seats. The other thing that impressed me was after he scored the knockout and did the in-ring interview, he discussed in technical detail how he'd watched video of Sugar Ray Robinson use the same setup for a left hook and saw Fonseca doing the same things Robinson's opponents did, and he scored it. Now, come on. You know, I get it. I'm even to my own self. I'm not a fangirl, but I was impressed by.
Good night. Good night, Gayle.
You know, but fair enough. Let's see what Garcia does with Campbell, and I think we're going to have the same thing happen again.
Look,
we're going to see the same.
Listen. I'll be real with you here. I think with Luke Campbell, if Ryan Garcia can come out quick on Campbell and jump on Campbell and hit him hard with something early, I think he could do real damage. I think he could. But that doesn't tell me anything about Ryan Garcia.
Well, absolutely right. He needs to find an opponent, he doesn't necessarily need to find an elite opponent right now. He needs to find a durable one that will just bedevil him and take him rounds. You're right. These first round knockouts are exciting. His fans love them, but they aren't developing his career. And you're absolutely right about that.
I want to see the next superstar in boxing, but I don't want a hype job. I've had my heart through the years broken by hype jobs. People I thought that were doing the business, right? I remember Michael Grant, Michael Grant, right? And big guy, 6'7", and he was with Holyfield, you know, coming out of the ring with Holyfield and seeing him go fight Andrew Colotton, getting knocked down and getting back up and all this stuff. And then Lennox Lewis, and then Lennox stuffed him up in a couple of rounds. I thought, oh my God.
No question, no question. And
You
we've all had our heart broken. But there's something to be said for enjoying the journey. And we can't criticize a fighter for engaging with fans and drawing fans.
Yeah, but
these guys are in the entertainment business.
But using Instagram.
So what?
Using Instagram.
What should he use? What should he use? What's the alternative? What do you think? Do you think his fans are going to find him in the newspaper? I don't think so.
Use his fists and say, you know what? Take this stuff at fights and deliver in the ring the old school style. Go in there and beat your opponents.
Oh, Ingram, you're probably going to tell the kids to go get off your lawn after this too. Come on. Come on. This is the way it happens.
Okay,
My
all right.
advice to Ryan is, don't get on social media when you're mad, bro. That's all I'm saying. Just don't do that.
I think Ryan Garcia is going to be a point of contention between old school, and look, the old school people and the new school. Old school say, show me what you've got by getting in the ring. And a lot of people remain skeptical about Ryan Garcia. I've seen people, in camps beat him up pretty badly and make him look real bad. I know him going Reynosos is a fantastic thing. I think Canelo putting his arms around him is a brilliant thing. I think that saved his career. Because without Canelo, I think he was on a real quick road to.
I agree with you. I think Canelo's imposed a lot of discipline. I think Canelo's also talked to him very candidly about how he conducts business from the financial side. These guys have to look out for themselves. They have a limited career that can end any time. Let's all remember that.
Yes.
So, and it can end not just from a beating in the ring, but from an accident in the gym. That's a catastrophic injury. It happens. So I get it. But we're going to agree to disagree. Having said all those nice things about Ryan Garcia, to me, the true star of boxing to come is his stablemate Virgil Ortiz.
Wait.
His business in a far quieter way.
What about my boy Edgar Berlanga? What do you think of him?
Well, here again. What are we learning about Berlanga from all these first round knockouts? He also needs to go rounds in exactly the same way. But, I like what I see so far. It's fun. Hey, his name's coming up on this show.
There you go. But check this out.
What we need
he's not running to his Instagram account and saying, give me more fights. He's saying, I need to take my time. I need to build myself up. I need to keep building myself up. I like Berlanga. That's what he's doing. He's doing things the mature way. You understand? And he's still a young kid himself. Berlanga. Is he not?
Berlanga's a very young kid. He's 19 or 20, I think. Hey, we're in a social media age. The genie is not going back in the bottle.
Going forward.
These are the same criticisms that Muhammad Ali got and the same criticisms that Floyd Mayweather got, that Conor McGregor gets. They're polarizing personalities.
I'm gonna pull you back in there. I'm gonna pull you back a second. Muhammad Ali was a gold medalist. Bang, won. Put him to one side. Floyd Mayweather wasn't he not? Was he?
Floyd won a bronze medal.
Okay, so he was Olympian as well too. Put Floyd to one side.
But the Olympic path is not the only path, and for a lot of these guys, they can't stay in the amateurs long enough. They eventually got to make some money. That's the problem. There isn't especially in the United States, there isn't a subsidized amateur system for them. They're on their own, really, until they make the trials. There's a kid who made the U.S. team as an alternate who, when the Olympics got put off a year, he made the team as an alternate for 2020 in Tokyo. And then thought, he has dual citizenship to Nicaragua. The country of Nicaragua invited him to try out. He would have made the Nicaraguan team instead, but he has to wait a year. Can he do it? No. So he's going to have his pro debut next weekend on the Top Rank card. He's not signed to Top Rank, but he can't wait anymore. He wanted to be in the Olympics. And even when they're 4 years apart, you have guys who just can't wait, or they don't make that particular 4-year cycle, and they just have to move on, especially in the United States and also in Mexico, where financially there's so much more in it for these guys to turn pro when they're 15 or 16 and start supporting extended family. They've got to do it. Think about how few Mexican Olympians we've ever seen. All the great Mexican fighters over the years. And that's why. And in North America, it's a very different story. So Olympic medals are an amazing achievement in sport at any level. It's just not the path that everyone can take. So I reserve judgment if they didn't take that path. Now, if they went to the Olympics and just got, a drubbing, that's a different story. And fair enough.
Rashidi Ellis, what's going on with his career?
Well, he was signed to Golden Boy. I think he's still signed with Golden Boy. Again, everybody there is on hold. So, although I believe he's made appearances as well on Showtime prospect cards, it's just a rough go for everybody right now. There's just such limited opportunity. It's really tough to get everybody who wants to get on a card the space. And that's what we see happening in the United States. There are the 3 venues, bubble type venues set up by the various networks. Showtime is working out of the Mohegan Sun, which is a Native American tribal casino operation. So that affords them a nice closed area for them to work in. And, we're working with the tribal commission. So there's that. And that's a little more flexible. So that's the Showtime PBC universe is there. We know that Top Rank is working out of Las Vegas in coordination with the MGM Grand Hotel, which has been very glad to see them there, by the way. They've taken up residence long-term in a floor of their hotel. And also they turned one of their big conference rooms, which are all empty in their convention center, into their fight arena in the bubble, which has worked fairly well for them. DAZN, is taking this initiative that Eddie Hearn started with Fight Camp, right? And then he recreated it in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It sounded crazy, a very random choice, but I really like the way it turned out. And I'd like to see them do some more of that. But DAZN doesn't have a whole lot on the horizon right now. We're going to get to see the last Fight Camp card, but after that,
the people are still in shock horror of what happened with that young lady, the Keep Fit mother that fought the world champion and got knocked out within a few seconds. That was disgusting. That should not even be. I don't even know who approved that fight.
Well, the California State Athletic Commission approved the fight, and Andy Foster now says, in retrospect, he looked at her on paper, and on paper it looked okay as a replacement. She was willing, her trainer was willing. They knew her contact. They had called him to see if he could scare up a replacement. He should. They can't shortchange the steps necessary to check these replacements out. We can blame the pandemic in a way for having so little flexibility, so little time. It was just, mistake upon mistake upon mistake. The only blessing is that it was far better for her to take that one shot and be out than get a beating round after round. Is far worse. So it looked horrible, no question. But one and done, that's by far the lesser evil than being beat around the ring for several rounds before somebody finally has the smarts to call it off. And believe you me, Senicia Estrada is a monster.
Yeah, he knows that.
Absolutely, at that weight, the hardest puncher I think I might have ever seen, and by far the meanest. That woman has a mean streak and knows how to marshal it. And, she's ready to go. And you saw what happened. She did her job.
She did
Thank
her.
goodness when she saw what happened, she had the class not to celebrate, not to dance on this woman's grave, not to go crazy. And she has said very little about it because there's nothing for her to say. She was put in a very difficult position. You know, she didn't pick the opponent. She said, sure, whoever you put in front of me, I'll fight. That's what a fighter's supposed to do.
Absolutely.
But what was this woman thinking? You know, shame on her. She should have been more honest with herself. I mean, she should have looked at the Estrada fight with Marlon Esparza, an Olympian.
Yeah.
You know, which was, by the way, 3-minute rounds. An absolute firecracker of a fight. A spectacular fight. That was as rough as they get. Probably the best women's fight last year. You know, probably second only to the Taylor Persoon original fight. Two great women's fights. That's what we need to see in women's boxing.
Okay, so very quickly to close this off, let's get straight to the UK. Eddie's backyard.
Eddie's backyard.
Eddie's backyard.
You know what I want to see?
What?
Come on, Barry, get out the family photo album. I want to see pictures of Eddie running around in the backyard in his short pants. You know, come on, please. We beg you.
Enough. There's a action model of Eddie Hearn. There's Eddie Hearn's book on how to get success. Enough. I don't want to see.
We want some childhood pictures. We've seen his childhood home. It's his modest little childhood home, right?
We are traumatized enough for the most part. We're traumatized enough.
Oh, don't go on, Hayden.
But fair play to him for the in your backyard having boxing. Persoon versus Taylor, the rematch. First of all, how did Taylor even get that decision?
You know, that was home cooking at its worst, in my opinion. Everyone expected her to win. And the mindset, in my opinion, of the judges just couldn't see fit to flip the script. You know, they sometimes do see what they want to see.
Yes.
We've seen some bad decisions in boxing. You know, when you have to rely on human judgment, it's going to happen. I don't subscribe to the fact that, you know, every bad decision by the judges is rampant corruption. I think sometimes they just are stupid, or they have a script in their head and they have a hard time seeing past it. You know, Taylor was expected to win. Mm-hmm. You look at a fighter favorably when you have those expectations, and it takes multiple rounds for you to start switching your mindset and really gauging what you're seeing. And by then, I think a hole had been dug too far for Persoon, and we got that close decision in Taylor's favor. But it raised so many questions about Taylor. It did her no favors.
Do you think? Well, she was a part-time police officer, or they made it clear she was the part-time boxer who was a police officer.
Full-time police officer. She has 35 fights in the books, admittedly, all in Europe. So it's hard to gauge, you know, what her level of skill is. But that woman is tough as steel.
Yes.
You know, you've got to be fit to be a law enforcement officer. If you've gotten a look at her just walking around, you can see she doesn't lose any fitness in between fights, and she has been able to train full time for this one.
She'll enforce law this time round, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I think she is very, very dangerous. She's bigger than Taylor. She's coming in with a different level of confidence. And every fight is won or lost in the mind first. And I think Persoon's mind is right, and I'm not sure Katie's is. And I am going to call this as an upset for Persoon. The judges get it wrong.
Persoon stoppage. I'm going for Persoon stoppage.
Good for you. Yeah, I think we're in alignment there. And I do think Persoon needs to get a stoppage to guarantee a win.
Yes.
But if she can't, she needs to do serious damage to Taylor. She needs to beat the tar out of her, lean on her, get inside, and force that kind of fight, just like Jessica McCaskill did last week.
Jessica.
That's the blueprint.
I've said it from the minute the fight was signed. Jessica McCaskill can beat Breakers by just outworking her. She'll outwork her.
Yeah, and Persoon should absolutely do the same.
Absolutely. Judges and officials being on promoters' cards and promoters paying for their stay and their accommodation stay and their expenses and really giving them first-class VIP treatment, does that not have any bearing or influence on how a judge may perceive a fight?
You know, the good ones, it doesn't. They're not all good ones. I don't think boxing media should be taking gratuities from promoters either. They need to find a way that, you know, yes, you get a seat in the arena. You are placed where you can see and judge a fight. You're given proximity to the fighters. I am personally uncomfortable when promoters throw cocktail parties, events, invite you to go to a golf driving range in Las Vegas to party it up. That's nice. That's fine. But we know what it's really about.
Amen.
There are other ways to network with each other and build relationships.
Not doing that.
Involve food and alcohol, outings, hotel. You get the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That has influence.
That is one thing I am old school about. I get it that there are a lot of people who've, you know, got their freelance operations, and budgeting that is difficult. Well, you know, you need to find a different model or get yourself some sponsors or figure it out, because you are compromised. But, you know, the judges, the truth is, judges do it because they enjoy it. They don't get paid much. I think people would be shocked how little judges and referees get paid, at least in the United States. You know, a big check for them would be $10,000, a really big check. They're not getting that kind of money. So I'm a little less troubled about them having a hotel room, especially in the current environment. You know, I'm not too worried about that. Luckily here, especially in either Southern California or Las Vegas, most of the judges drive to the venue, do their job, drive home. There are so many judges in the general Los Angeles and Las Vegas area. Right. You know, it's like anybody else. They drive into work, the beginning of their shift, do their job, drive home.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Dillian Whyte, Alexander Povetkin. What's your thoughts?
Well, thank God, Dillian Whyte did not weigh 280 pounds. You know, today he came in at what, 253 and a half?
Not 18 stone, was it?
18 stone and a pound and a half. Today.
What about
that's lower. Povetkin was still a tidy 225. That's about where he's been his last couple of fights. It is hard for me to fathom that Alexander Povetkin is a few days shy of being 41 years old.
Damn, yeah.
He looks damn good. And let's think about the last couple of fights both of them have had. Who's got the upward trajectory? Who has been looking good and on the upward slope while the other one is? Povetkin's looked very good. He should have gotten the decision against Michael Hunter again.
Yeah, that wasn't clown. It's
razor thin, but he had that fight. He absolutely had that fight. Whyte has struggled. I think he's going to have a lot of trouble with Povetkin. You know, heavyweights, you know, there is the eraser that all heavyweights have, you know, simply by their size. If Whyte gets lucky, maybe he lands something big, but Povetkin is just so tough. Povetkin can, you know, to probably his detriment later in his life, can take a hit. And I think White's going to have a very hard time getting him out of there. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Povetkin is going to pull this out. I really do. I just am not 100% sure after everything that's happened to Dillian. A lot, not of his making, but a fair amount of his making. I'm just not sure Dillian's in the right place. And Povetkin is just, he's tested, he's tough, and he's just so Russian. He just is. If you have an interview with him, I mean, he might as well be saying, "I will break you." I mean, that's just how he is. He does not crack a smile in interviews. He's all business all the time. And I think there's going to be two surprises. I do. And I apologize to all the British fans. This is not good news for them, but it's going to be a rough day for you, ladies and gentlemen.
And to close off, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, the third fight. What is going on? People are saying Wilder's going to take a step aside. Other people are saying Wilder's going to carry on fighting. What's going on there?
I, for one, don't need to see a third fight. I don't need to see a third fight.
Right.
The reason the fight's needed is the promoters need to do business at that level, and it will do huge business. I get it. They're going to hold out as long as possible so they can have a live gate. 17 million gate is something they can only now look back at and, imagine seeing again sometime in the future. We all hope. But, these two gentlemen can do business in so many other ways. They have other options. I am not sure anybody should be booking non-refundable travel to go see that third fight right now. I think it's very much in flux. The promoters are driving it because they do need the business. And, it's hard to turn down a payday like that for either man. I'm just not sure either of them is truly very motivated at this point. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
The heavyweight fight, I'm really looking forward to.
It is. Gayle, as we bring this...
Andy Ruiz and Chris...
No.
500 pounds of Mexican in the ring.
No.
We all have our guilty pleasures. I admit it. They're both my homeboys. There's one to the north of me and one to the east of me. Come on, guys, do that fight here at the border in San Diego. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. It would be trash-tastic. It really would.
Fantastic.
I love it. I just love the whole idea of it. Not every fight has to be elegant and inspiring to be fun.
Right. Well, you think it'll be a fun fight for as long as it lasts?
I think as long as it lasts, and both of them can bring it. For big boys, especially now later in Errol's career. He holds the record for punch rate, work rate for a heavyweight fight, along with Adam Konaki. Ruiz has taken weight off, under the strict eye of the Reynosos. They've kept him away from the taco truck. Thank God. They've kept him away from the party scene. Thank God. He's 100 miles from home. And he looks pretty good. He can move. He still has speed. Mm-hmm. So I think we've got, just tons of fun on our hands. Literally. I know. Everybody deserves to like these sort of fights that, other rational people would say, you gotta be kidding, or there's really no reason these guys should be doing this business. But sometimes the absurdity of boxing is why it's so fun.
It's good. It's supposed for Areola in the pockets. I'll never. It's good. It's good for Mexican boxing and all that sort of stuff.
They're both Southern California products. They're just very classic. representatives of the scene. And no matter what happens, they're both going to go get beers and buy around for the whole bar after the fight's done.
Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Gayle, as we bring it to a close, can you let people know where they can find you and what you do?
So I am a boxing writer for the American news website Communities Digital News, and that address is COMM Digi DIGI News, comdiginews.com, or look me up. My day job is that I run a public relations company, and my handles are PR Pro San Diego on all platforms.
There you go.
I love the cesspool that is boxing Twitter.
Fantastic. And when will we see you again on TMZ?
Oh, my Lord. Well, when Harvey calls, I'm ready for him.
Gayle, as always, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and look forward to having you again back soon.
Thank you so much, Ingram. Everybody, you got lots of fights to watch this weekend. Please, whoever is your pleasure, support your boxing community.
And that's it. We are out. Thank you so much for watching BWTM Sports, and thank you again, Gayle. Take care.
Cheers, everybody.